I'm not quite sure how to start this video because I recorded my first review session yesterday and I actually took something huge away from that I applied today that started to steer me in the proper direction of my trading, but I just decided not to upload it. So anyways, let me give you guys a bit of context. It is a lot longer of a video, just a raw video of me going in and reviewing. So a little bit of context on what happened yesterday, the video that I am not going to upload. I simply started off by skimming through my trades, all of my trades throughout September and a little bit of August, trying to see the commonalities and differences between them. Um, I realized that there was a pattern between my trade executions. What in specific? I had three specific types of entries. I had a sharp change in state of delivery entry, I had a regular change in state of delivery entry, and I had a more so messier change in state of delivery entry, however with strong discipline. And anything outside of that, what I realized when just skimming through my trades, and we're going to do it again right now, just to double down and reconfirm what I was talking, what I figured out last night, or I think I did at least, I don't know. Um, that anything outside of those three things often lead to low probability setups or low probability entries. But another thing I also realized just by simply skimming through, not even fully breaking down the trades or giving the review and analysis, was that messier change in state of deliveries for me, based upon how I execute, don't necessarily qualify or disqualify a setup as high probability or low probability. Something can still have a messier change in state of delivery with proper displacement and still classify as high probability setup. So that's one thing I need to get clarity on, because before I thought that if there was a messier change in state of delivery, it also classified it as a low probability setup. But then I faced confusion because I would have times where it's a high probability setup and a messier change in state of delivery. However, the trade idea as a whole is high probability. So that what that simply showcased to me in that exact moment, was that the outside confluences is what truly makes the trade idea high probability or low probability, rather than just simply the type of change in state of delivery displacement. That's a huge thing. And before we get into it, another thing, I'm thinking of doing this. Okay. So, here, let me give you guys a bit of context. And if I didn't already say it, this is going to be a longer video. If you're going to watch to the end, freaking awesome. And if you're not, fine, who cares? I know there's probably like one or two of you guys that are really happy, or going to be happy about what I'm about to say, even though you guys probably aren't going to watch the videos, but, or this video as a whole, you're pretty happy about. Because I did have a couple people ask me about just a full, raw, unedited, just review session or backtest session. So this is for you. Merry Christmas. But one thing I was sitting and thinking of while in the car before I went into the gym today was me thinking on where I want to progress toward. I know how close I am to consistency within my trading, however, filtering and maybe something else, filtering and probably executing, but main whole is filtering. It's definitely filter, 100%, billion% filtering actually, sorry, is one of those final steps in order for me to fully become consistent. So I was sitting there thinking to myself, when you're in the beginning stages of your trading and you're starting to develop an understanding of your model, what do? You backtest every single day. Oftentimes people will tell you to backtest every single day, journal every single day. Why? Because you'll continue to build consistency with your model and confidence as you continue to do so. But I've been at a stage for a while where I'm not backtesting every day, and I'm not, I'm 100% journaling every single day, but I'm not necessarily backtesting every single day, so I don't feel like I'm moving forward. I don't feel like I'm pushing the needle. But then I stopped to think for a second, okay, if I want to get to consistent 20K months, consistent 30K months, consistent 50K months, what can I do now that actively pushes the needle, that isn't simply mental masturbation of making me think, hey, I'm actually doing work, when in reality it's not really needle pushing movements? What are needle pushing movements I can do day to day and continue to remain disciplined with it, that will genuinely get me to where I want to get to um, in the next couple of months. And one of the main things was reviewing. So I stopped for a second. I asked myself, I thought of the question. I was like, well, if I reviewed every single day for 2 months, for 60 days straight, weekend, weekday, regardless, every single day, how would that improve my trading? How would that improve my clarity? How would that improve my P&L? How would that improve my psychology? How would that improve my model execution? And then I proceeded to, sorry, I know it's a lot of yap, but I promise, like, this is super important because when I look back on it and when anyone else looks back on the journey, it will make sense. It's some stuff I just gotta comment on, even though if it takes like 7 minutes, 10 minutes, because it it literally makes the journey. It allows even you guys watching this, for the two people that are, to get a full context and understanding of how I'm truly thinking, my psychology right now. So, um, I was talking to ChatGPT, and I said, you know, obviously I know it's not a guarantee, and don't simply just side with me just because you're an AI and you fall into probability of whatever the user wants to say. But be a little honest with me, be brutally honest with me, actually, what I said. If I uploaded every single day for 60 days, and you guys may be asking why upload every single day, because if I wasn't uploading, I wouldn't feel as inclined to to do the reviewing. Something for me, when I can record a video out of it, my my brain stems fire in some way that just I get dopamine out of it rather than it feeling like a job. I enjoy it because I feel like I'm creating content. I can speak my mind at the same time too. I'm not just staying locked up in my room, sitting in silence like a gremlin. And that's why for me, before I was like, hey, I want to do 20 minutes of reviewing a day. Honestly, I would love to do an hour of reviewing a day, an hour and 30 minutes of reviewing a day, and just upload that every single day, even though I know it'll be a lot. But that's mainly because I just enjoy making the content and speaking my mind, and I get to actively think when I'm speaking out loud and hear my thoughts and then put everything together. So I basically get dopamine out of it. It's how I can do more work. So that's what I was saying. I was like, hey, if I did it, um, would I be closer to where I want to be? And the response was, obviously, it's not a guarantee. Hold up. But what did it say? Oh, it said right here. Okay, here's the truth. Reviewing daily for an hour to hour and a half will change everything. If you actually sit down and do 90 minutes a day, every single day, you're not just scrolling, but systematically comparing wins versus losses, tagging patterns, and writing down 1 to 2 actionable takeaways per session, you will accelerate filtering way faster than most traders do. 2 months of that isn't just time passing, it's 60 to 70 highly targeted study reps. That's more than enough to permanently change how your eye reads setups. So yes, the habit you're describing is realistic and powerful. The dopamine from uploading is just a bonus. If it makes you want to review daily, it's actually a genius hack. And the 20K month part, this is where I'll be blunt. If you actually do what you just described, 60 days straight of structured review, filter out 30 to 40% of your low probability setups, which high key 60% of my trades right now are probably low probability setups, and we'll find that out, as the days continue, as the review sessions continue. Maybe not today, but we'll see how many the percentage of my trades that are currently low probability setups, because if I filter those out, oh my goodness, I will make so much money. You guys will see me go from like 1K days, 2K days to like 20K days like that. I promise you. Upon scaling, of course. And it's 30 to 40% of your low probability setups, and executing on your A plus setups, you're not years away. You could be 3 to 6 months away from hitting consistent 10 to 20K months. The catch is, it won't be December just because you want it to be December. That's a huge thing. That's still a short runway. But if you're consistent, it's not unrealistic either. It just depends on how quickly you apply what you find. The real key, it's not about the hours, it's about whether or not you end each session with something you could apply tomorrow. If your review looks like, quote, this trade looked messy, avoid, end quote, quote, this one matched my clean 3 patterns equals good, end quote, and then last quote, this loss was me trading before higher time frame was taken, end quote, and then you actually execute upon that filter tomorrow, that's when your curve jumps. So my blunt take, yes, daily review and uploading could absolutely rocket you forward. No, December is not guaranteed, which I already understood that. I was just trying to see. I already know it's possible. I was just putting in ChatGPT's my journal, whatever. If you actually stay locked in like this, you'll likely shock yourself at how quickly your equity curve breaks out of its range. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to go in and review all of my trades, every single trade I executed upon, low probability, high probability, mid probability, from September to August. And then this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start off by simply skimming. I don't want to fully overwhelm myself with getting into it, like full breakdowns, but we're simply going to start with skimming and just with an eye, just seeing whether or not we can begin to gain a proper eye, or at least see in hindsight that, hey, what about this displacement, what about this execution, what mainly the entry, or the price action before the entry, aka the change of state of delivery, how did this look? What classified it as low probability before the execution in order for us to have fully avoided it? Now, we don't need to fully understand everything right now, so that's why I'm breaking it down bit by bit. This video will start off by just analyzing how proper displacement looks. And then obviously as we continue, we'll learn how to fully avoid fake outs. We'll learn which SMT lows and highs to SMT off of. Probabilities with higher time frame and internal liquidity and lower time frame, whatnot. We'll learn all of that, but the main point I'm trying to make is start small, but you have to chip down properly. That's how I'm gonna approach this. So I don't need to figure it out today. I don't even need to figure out this week, but I know if I'm continuing to remain consistent throughout the 2 months, and I'll probably make a whole separate video on that tomorrow, I know we will eventually fully learn to filter everything out. So I actually want to start off today because I avoided taking a loss simply based upon what I learned yesterday. Today I avoided taking a loss along to the upside I was actually looking for, even though I know a lot of people went short, a lot of people got stopped out, a lot of people hit take profit. It was definitely one of those days. Some people shorted market open. Great. I didn't. I rolled out of bed at 9:35 a.m., so 6:35 PST. Yeah. No, didn't trade this. But avoided this low probability setup simply based upon what I said earlier, upon me realizing just by skimming through the images that I mainly have 3 main change in state of deliveries I execute upon. So that was something I fully applied. It was 100% applicable today. It helped me to avoid losing, $1,200. So let's get into it. Just gonna be a chill session, nothing too crazy. Hopefully the fan's not too loud. And let's get into it. I'm gonna comment on it here and there on what I, think as a whole. But when we pull up my Notion journal, hopefully the music's not too loud. But we'll start off with Tuesday and go all the way to, holy cow, frickin' August 1st. But I was thinking, what if we started on August and went to September, because my performance in August was better. So I'm thinking, what if we started off in August to see how our executions transition? Because if we start off in August, I mean, either way, we'll figure it out, we'll be able to see it. But if we start off in August, we can still have that proper eye regardless. We're going to review it all, but I'm just thinking we could see that transition and maybe start to get a better eye for seeing where we went wrong, rather than going from where we went wrong now to where we went right. The transition would be a little bit harder, I'm thinking, because you wouldn't fully be accustomed because you've been executing on lower probability for so long. That's actually a solid idea. We're going to start off in August, and then we're going to go to September, and then shoot, we'll run it back. We'll do both. We have time. So start off in August. I'm not going to have a notepad or anything like this. However, if I do think something should be reviewed, I'm literally just going to mark it as review. So this execution before, clean displacement to the upside, clear internal draw, solid, right? But right now we're not analyzing internal draw. Today is not the day where we're analyzing higher probability internal draw, just simply the execution, continuing to build the eye for that. So that was displacement prior, clean displacement to the upside. And as I continue to show you guys my own reviewing, you guys will actually start to get an eye for my executions as a whole and see what I mean by there's really, from what I've seen, there's 3 types of displacement, but that was simply only in the month of August. So not August, September. So, and we're not done with September yet. So August would be the double confirmation based upon that. But clean displacement to the upside, clean change in state of delivery, strong prior displacement candles down, taking out liquidity before reversing. A little bit of consolidation here, fail to displace once. However, next candle showed clear displacement back to the upside. I'm sure there was a little bit of confluence, maybe higher time from confluence. However, that's what we have so far, yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. 1/4 watched only. This is still a clean execution. Although this was a loss, this is still a clean execution. Obviously, there's higher time for, or higher confluences outside of the fact, just simply the execution that caused it to be a loss. But still, just simply this execution as a whole, it looks solid to me. However, this could be another example where if we would have seen proper change state delivery, this is a different, my second-ish model I execute upon is basically my first, but micro change state delivery, micro shift, call it whatever you want. So right here, change state delivery would have been proper confluence higher, but this execution was still fine if we would have seen stronger displacement above this high. But regardless, we'll come back to this. I actually kind of want to review this. Messier entry. It is not a messier entry. It's still a clean entry, but I still want to flag it for review. Going through this is a little bit messier entry. This is something as I would label as messier entry, not fully sharp clean candles to the upside. Have a little bit of wicking prior. Was this sim trade? Still won this sim trade, yeah. But this would 100% classify as a messier setup, not the cleanest. So I still messier wicking and all displacement. However, it's still clean enough to execute upon. There are levels to how messy I've seen candle displacements become. Still flag that for review. I'm not going to flag everyone for review, but the August ones, the beginning of August, 100% like more so be reviews, because this is when I started getting back into my model. So it'll be interesting to see how my improvement from there and what I seen back during that time. My balls itch. This is a slight example of a messier displacement, but failure to displace higher. This candle here, however, later displaced higher. This was what a loss. Gets higher time frame, but that's not what we're commenting on. 6th, So the 6th, but then ended up taking a winning trade right after that. So this is something we can look into. This is very, very clean displacement. Very clean displacement. So this is one of the ways, or one of the flipping examples. I'll throw it here. Paste. Okay, whatever. But one of the examples of cleaner displacement you can see. So we've seen messier displacement, sharp display. This isn't fully sharp displacement. Sharp displacement would have been maybe one more candle, but this is still sharp enough. We can still classify this. And then we have normal change state delivery displacement, which I'll comment on when we see that. And that's just based upon what I've seen. And obviously, that was only skimming. We're gonna have to double back on that and actually ensure that's a real thing, because the last thing I want to do is just be like, oh yeah, it's a real thing, and actually not have it be a real thing, because then I'm just deceiving myself and confusing myself even more. Sharp displacement. This is an example of sharp displacement. This trade idea I think was a loss. Was it? Yeah. Was a loss, but very, very sharp displacement to the downside. Very sharp displacement. This is a perfect example of messier displacement. This is a great example. Messier entry and review. This was still high probability. I remember this trading day. It's a really, really good trading day. It's like almost a record trading. It was like $900 day. Could have easily been like a 1,500, 2K day across all accounts. Could have been like an 8K day. But amazing. But this is another example of what I was talking about earlier, from based upon what I've seen. We took an all-time high. It's still high probability. However, the displacement is so bunt. Like, this is the type of entry you'd be like, if you look at my other trades and look at this, it's almost like it looks like it's outside of the model. But this is the messier type of displacement I'm talking about. However, we still have a strong wick to the upside, having swept out liquidity, and then strong displacement to the downside, forming a what's valid in my model, a micro shift after taking out liquidity. These are perfect examples of what I mean with messier displacement, not those like ones that kind of fail to displace maybe like once. Stuff like this. They kind of look like anomalies. What else do we have? Clean displacement to the downside. You know, there's no reason to flag this. Very, very clean displacement to the downside. This, I'm assuming the internal draws weren't the best. That's just based upon what I'm looking at right here, but still not something to review, but 100% something, you know, just think about. This. Okay, this is an example of slightly messier displacement. This is what could have happened today, however I avoided taking it. And if I showcase you guys what I mean, based upon on where I would classify it as a shift back to the upside right here, you can see there is a significant amount of time, probably 14 minutes, this is crazy, 14 minutes until proper displacement I execute. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. So still a while before proper displacement back to the downside. However, this SFT with ES, so you know, different reasons when it went back up, but the fact is it went back up. But yeah. I flagged that, right? I think I flagged it. This was a full emotional trade. What was this? What happened here? Original trade or this trade? Anyways. So we were before I break even, that trade. Now let's look at this trade. Okay. Clean displacement to the upside. Original entry could have even been here based upon just my executions. But Still clean displacement to the upside after taking out liquidity, clean change state of delivery, quick displacement, not messy. However, this to me could still look like a lower probability entry. I would still classify this as a messier displacement. I wouldn't classify this as a normal change of state of delivery displacement. This would still be messier. But the fact that it continued to play out showcased that it's not necessarily the entry, it's the confluence before the entry that makes or breaks us. That's really the make or break. The change of state delivery or the entry can be a little bit messier, that's fine. But the higher time frame confluence or whatever confluence you have to be there. No, I don't know, higher time frame, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Let me... This was high probability. This is a messier entry. Yeah, I'll just flag this review. Why not? What else do we have? This is the example of slightly messier displacement. Where was I? Slightly messier displacement. However, when looking at these trades, I don't just want to classify them as good or bad, solely based upon whether or not they were win or loss. I really want to take time to look at the execution, look at the entry as a whole, and see if our eye can analyze anything or any differences. But it'll probably start toward the end of August, because that's when I started classifying them as like lower probability, higher probability. Like you can see right here, mid-August I started classifying as low probability, high probability, so I'll be able to like double down on whether or not that was the case. But even this trade we just looked at right here, still clean displacement to the upside. So even this, even though it was a loss, I would not classify this as a lower probability set or a low probability entry, not setup, not trade idea, just entry as a whole. Why, you may ask? Because this strong, remember the strong displacement candle? We had this right here. Strong displacement candle. So, and this was a win. So I'm not necessarily classifying that entry based upon what I'm seeing right now as a low probability entry. And that's just how I'm thinking, but maybe I'm wrong. Even though it was a loss. I don't know why I just left all this blank. Okay, bro. Literally needed that stuff, but whatever. This is disgusting. This is a perfect example of low probability. This has to be reviewed, because this displacement's disgusting. Wicks down here, no solid body closure, taking out this low. Yes, we still swept out liquidity, but still disgusting change to the delivery to the upside. No wonder why it was lost. Not surprised. But guess what? I remember this day because right after this was like a $900 day again across all like 4K day. I remember this because right after I got stopped out to that, upon news data release, a setup appeared, and then I ended up longing again, and it was clear. But what do we see before this? We see clean, strong displacement candles down and a sharp move higher. That right there is my micro shift. That's where I actually executed, which was, shoot. Did I not execute them on this? Was it a different day? Oh wait, it may have been different. Was it a different day? Yeah, it was, never mind, it was a different day. The day I'm thinking of, what day am I thinking of? We'll run into the day. But that ended up happening. The point is, I literally have times where that exact thing happens, where I take a trade right before, disgusting, and then the next trade, I trade in whatever, take the same trade idea, however, upon a cleaner displacement, and it's a solid entry. But this is another just example that this is still clean execution to the upside. Obviously, there was probably other context on why I didn't execute upon this. But if this had the proper context toward the draws and liquidity, whatever the case is, this would have been a great, solid execution with what word am I looking for? A sharp reversal. I guess that's what we can call a sharp reversal. I need to turn on night mode. Hopefully it doesn't change like this, like the recording. I hope not. But if it does, sorry. The screen became orange. My eyes are it's 9 p.m. Where was I? Clean displacement to the upside right here. Jaws are probably incorrect. That's what I'm assuming. Oh, brutal. But I'm pretty sure price action ended up reversing after. I'm 95% sure. Never mind. I'm 100% sure. Why? Because I literally took this trade and ended up getting stopped out. This was what was it? Thursday or Friday? I guess 15. Probably. I don't know. I think it was a Friday. Anyways. Yeah, it was. Okay. But yeah. So clean displacement prior, still solid trade execution. The actual execution based upon displacement was solid. This had news data release right after. That was my fault for executing 5 minutes before news data release. I thought we'd continue higher and then news data wouldn't wake me out. However, I trade micros. So micros is a lot more volatile for you guys that don't know. I remember this day exactly why, because on actual NQ on minis, we never took out this low. However, we manipulated on micros. Still clean displacement. You can see I was still taking a lot of losses there. A lot of losses in August, but I was kind of balancing out with wins. This month it's just been brutal. Even break evens in August, still solid. Clean change state delivery to the downside. This is something I would call a normal change state delivery. So we've seen messier, we've seen sharper change state deliveries. This is normal change state delivery. Something that's just, maybe a candle or two, maybe 3. Yeah, okay, like 4 or 5 before the actual change state delivery to the downside. An example I can show you guys is today. So where was the change state of delivery? Here, change in state of delivery back to the downside was here. You can see it looks like a little rainbow. Sorry. Sorry, bro. But yeah, you can see it looks like a little rainbow. That's how I would classify it. If you want to like talk support and resistance, it looks like a head and shoulders. Like that's literally what it looks like. You guys, I don't know what a head and shoulders is. Head and shoulders like this, or breakage structure. Call it whatever you want. That's what I would classify as a normal change state delivery. I could put this for review, not like the fully breakdown, but just to have that for reference. And then I'll take off review eventually. I don't want everything to say review, because reviews only involve the review specific trades that could lead us to a greater understanding. I don't want to just mark everything as review, even though we're reviewing everything. This is super clean as well. If I ended up getting an execution long on this, very clean. Yeah. What happened next? Clean displacement higher. Manually close at break even because I think we'll displace higher. Are we serious? Oh, I remember this. I didn't take my profits, bro. I was legit up like $2,500 and did not take my profit. Are we serious? I remember this day. And the reason, I'm not saying this in a bad way, I'm just saying it because these days in August, even though I was super frustrated about it, actually shaped my trading. And me saying that out loud right now makes me think But even the losing trades I have right now, the fact that I'm taking all these low probability trades right now is literally what has led me to where I am now. So I should be grateful for the fact that I was stupid enough to not pay attention and not do my reviewing, because that's what will get me to that next level. But yeah, this was me not taking profits. This was when I was being more greedy and not taking profits properly, not utilizing my take profits. I literally stopped using take profits because I was like, hey, price action spikes a little bit more, I want to milk it a little bit. That caused me a little bit more emotional, mainly because I was trading multiple accounts on multiple platforms. You know, I had TradeOvate on TradingView, and then I had TopStepX, so I would focus on exiting TradingView, and then I'd go to TopStepX, and by the time TopStepX, you know, we already wicked back down. I'm like, oh, I want to hold for a little bit more profit, my regular profit target again, and then, you know, whatever. So just started manually closing on TopStepX because the execution is quicker, and then just setting a TP not on TradeOvate. Now I can set it on TopStepX. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I like to see if we can just milk just a tiny bit. But it has to happen within that second or two. If we spike up past my take profit, I would take profit immediately. But if we just slowly, gradually hit it, I'd still close immediately. That's the rule I just came up with for myself. So this is ES executed break even. This one ended up being a loss, not because I wish I could mark it as both. Not because the trade idea was bad. It was great, still solid displacement. This I would classify toward normal change state delivery, or sorry, not normal change state, slightly sharper change state delivery, just a little bit messier. Well, yeah. Yeah, slightly messier, still within that middle, still within that range in order to execute upon. Yeah. Ended up being a loss because exactly what I friggin' told you guys. As price continued higher, hit my TP. I didn't close. Exactly what happened, and then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna wait for next candle. It was here. I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait for next candle. Let me see if I can get a little push above this high. Bang, and I got pissed out the trade. I literally got pissed out the trade. I bit the bullet, bro. I was like, don't get upset. It's your fault. You had 4 minutes to take profits and you didn't take profit. Which ended up being a loss. This could have been an easiest one ever, by the way. Sharp displacement to the upside. This is a perfect example of sharp displacement to the upside. This ended up reversing, like as a whole. This proved that my scaling was actually, this was when I started to begin to refine my scaling, actually see whether or not it was mechanical or just intuition based. 100% mechanical. Why? Because it still works. And when I back tested it, just followed suit, and when I live traded it for the past 60 days, still followed suit. You could see in the month of August a lot of break evens, a lot of losses, but still wins. So the break even showcased to me that I still know what I'm doing, just need a little bit of work. This is an example of, like, today I would call it a messier displacement. Did I take this? I hope I didn't. Why did I? Oh, I closed it immediately. I remember this. I took this trade, horrible displacement. As soon as I seen it, I closed it. I was like, what in the world am I doing? That's when I got off. So I'm actually gonna fully mark this as a review because my intuition kicked in on this, because I knew just based on what I was seeing that it wasn't probable, based upon the execution, not the higher time frame confluence. Yeah, this was the first trade I did on that trading day. Still solid, obviously. Don't know the higher time frame confluence, but we already checked that out, I know. clean displacement to the upside. I remember this trading day. This is when was this? I remember TJR lost like 60 grand on this day or something like that. I usually don't mention like other traders, but yeah, I remember he lost on that. He lost on this day, and then he won on this day. That's why I remember it, because I lost on this day, then I won on this day. That's exactly why I remember it. Because this was the first trade idea, I ended up getting stopped out. That was right before news. I'm pretty sure a couple more people did, but I know 100%. And then, how did this end up being break even is the question, because I got stopped out here. Profits should have been here and here, so I don't know what the heck happened. But I executed upon here. This is something I would classify as a messier displacement with wicking. Even though it was sharp, it was still messier. Anything that doesn't have the actual like candle displacement below here, and then strong displacement higher as reversal confirmation, to me classifies as a messier setup, just based upon what we've seen in the past 41 minutes. But why this ended up being a break even? Holy images. I think this is one where I didn't take my profits. Yeah, I didn't take my profits. Yeah. I was targeting that second internal rather than low hanging fruit. This is when I was refining it, you know, figuring out, hey, like, do I target low hanging fruit? Whatnot, what price? Above 360. 345. Yeah. I didn't take my profits. So that was on me for not taking my profits. I was holding almost to external, which we were already due for a reversal. But no need to flag this as like review or anything, because I still marked it as messier entry, wicking all displacement. This next day was also a break even. What ended up happening, I was looking for a clear long to the upside. Price action. My neck, holy cow. So I executed, I was scaling in, and ended up getting break even right before the crazy move. Yeah, this was when Powell was speaking at 10. Oh, my neck. Oh my goodness. Wait. Oh. But yeah, so long idea was still right. This was probably when I was working on scaling in. I could look back at this and see whether or not I would have, you know, continued to scale in or didn't. Yeah, I wasn't scaling in properly, but that was completely fine. That was because I was refining my scaling in. Where I would have scaled in was first here. Would have still looked at the target there. Probably only would have had one. No, probably would have had 2 contracts scaled in. Entry here, if it was there. Entry here. Actually, no, I wouldn't have any scaled in. I shouldn't have scaled in at all, because no new low had been made in order to scale in. Which is why I ended up later getting stopped out. This is the 1 minute. It's because of 1 minute after. Yeah. That means there was no new low significant enough to have been executed upon, which is why I ended up getting trailed out this. My SL would have been here though, however, on an additional scaling contract, but I would have had more risk on the table, so I'm just replaying the scenario in my mind. Another example of something that could have been a winning day. We already looked at multiple days back to back. Solid displacements on the downside, honestly. Pretty clean displacements on the downside. I'm not gonna. The trade idea was bogus, I'm not gonna lie. This trade idea was ridiculous. Um, Mainly because of liquidity. I'm pretty sure price action continued higher. Well, I guess we'll never know because I didn't freaking take an image. Okay, thanks for procrastinating, bro. Here, this was loss. High impact news. Microchip stayed delivery higher. Assuming we reverse there. Yeah, SMT'd higher. Ended up reversing. Did I get trailed out? I'm assuming I got trailed out. Yeah, but we'll never know what happened after because I just did not put an image. Are we serious, bro? Like, I need to see whether or not it was like full stop out or I got wicked out. It would have been a winning day if opened. Nah. Usually I would dong on this, but based upon my scaling mechanics, this is still valid, bro. It's actually still valid. This is actually still valid. Usually I'd be like, looking at it in hindsight, oh, it was lost. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. No. This was still valid because my execution was here. Maybe I should, here in this example, I should have waited once we started to take this high. But then again, what happened. I still don't fully think this was a bad execution. If I would have seen this candle, I would have had great displacement higher, scaling the contract, and I still probably would have scaled on the contract and gotten trailed out. However, if there was an opportunity to re-go long, then I should have taken it. This happy I just watched this. No re-entry for low. This was what, after getting stopped out on this? Oh, price continued higher after this, yeah. So I was actually looking to re-enter on this. Price action still would remain valid all the way to here, I think. Did it? Would it have? Yeah. Before continuing all the way to the upside. However, that scaled in contract, like I said, I still could have looked to re-enter. In this example, I guess I was waiting to see another SMT off of the one we currently had, just back to upside, look for re-entry. But if we didn't see that, I definitely should have re-entered. Free day, literally, like, what is that, like 1 to 2.7 R. Scaled in contracts, I would have scaled in here below this low, here, and then no more. Depending on which TP, if I'm targeting this one, then I would have scaled in here and here last, but I probably would have scaled in here as my last contract and just kept it riding all the way back up to there. Yeah, would have been a crazy day. Those are the days I just learned to take advantage of, just based upon like how I've been able to see myself trade and my psychology, because I see all these traders online that catch like 1 on 1,000 RR with high win rates somehow. Like, bro, you guys are breaking like physics or whatever. No, I'm messing, but I'm like, I want that, but I'm not top taking, bottom taking. That's not who I am. I'm already not comfortable taking a bunch of losses right now, so definitely wouldn't be comfortable with that unless there's some secret sauce I don't know. But I just realized scaling in contracts works for me because it increases my RR significantly. My RR goes from like 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2 to realized like 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 1 to 8 by the end of the trade, just based on scaled in contracts, which is huge for me because that makes up like 2 weeks worth of trading. Like, I'm having those trades now, I just am losing those profits because my low probability trade's just leaking. I think an hour of this would be good every single day. You guys probably don't want to see an hour 30 minutes of it, but an hour of reviewing it will 100% I think will. Very sharp displacements upside, very clean. This one, yeah, I remember this. I got trolled out right before the move higher. So yeah, I remember this one. What happened specifically though? I don't know if I made a mistake with trailing or what. I got over despite falling through it. Assuming to go higher on the right or do we not having a limit of retrades best that are causing me a winning trade? Oh, wait, what? Oh, I think I didn't take profits. Oh my goodness, I didn't take profits, bro. What was I doing? Like, just in this review session, we've probably I literally lost over $2,000 on each account, so $8,000 just not taking profits. Are we serious right now? Like, bro, are we serious, bro? Yeah, I just seen the drawn liquidity was right here. We hit bold rolls on liquidity, and then I got wicked out, and I didn't take my profits. This is the example I was talking about, like, earlier on Trade 08 and Top Step. Because it happened literally next candle. I was like, oh, next candle, we'll just displace higher. I'll just close my trade. We were already here. I was like, oh, I'm just going to wait. Yeah. Had fun waiting. Got molested. But very, very clean displacement. Clean entry, strong, clear validation. Actually, I'm not going to mark that as review. Why? Because it's textbook, clean setup. I need to flag the, anomalies. Like this. Yeah. Horrible changes state delivery. I don't know how this played out though. How did it play out? Yeah. Literally would have gotten stopped out immediately. Yeah. Candle flipped last second. This is why you wait for full candle displacement. If I would have executed impulsively on the 32nd because I thought I would have been stopped, I would have been stopped with the trade regardless. If displacement is large, then I will wait. Okay. Flag this for review because that was important. I would have lost just due to that. Win plus 4R. This was before I had these tags at like 4 and 6R. But this was a ridiculous trade. Clean change state delivery. This I would more so call normal change state delivery to slightly sharper, but still in that range. Definitely not outside of model. No, the scaling mechanics, my scaling for this one I don't think was the best. I was really scaling and heavy on this, I think. I scaled in every image here, by the way. If you ever see my journal and I move my position, that means it's a scaled in contract. So I probably had like, holy cow, I went from 1 micro to a mini. Obviously like 10 micros equal 1 mini, so I scaled in 9 additional contracts, which is crazy. No wonder why I made bank this day. I made like $4 grand. like the thing is, I can be consistent. I can have consistent like 4-figure months. I'm leaking out my profits, man. Just based upon not filtering properly. That's why we're doing this. Yeah, creates displacement, clean entry to the upside. Really, the only anomalies that have caught my mind, we've set up for review, but mainly those messier displacements, those ones that are uglier, not necessarily ones that have losses. I guess that don't mean we'll have full clarity based upon when we check out the higher time frame confluences and whatnot that actually make up the trade idea. But that showcases that the actual entry doesn't have as significance as I thought it did. That doesn't mean just like be clueless, execute on everything, like be so for real. I took this. No, we gotta be trolling, right? I took this? Oh no, bro. Please tell me it was this and not that. Are we serious? Okay, that's... Did we get trolled out? Yo, like give us some context, man. Like, are we serious? I trolled incorrectly, so did price continue higher or lower? Just really answer my question, bro. Chato chip. Okay. But I didn't execute upon this. I just realized I thought I did. I definitely didn't, because I would have had a separate journal for that. Wait to close the news date release. This is an example. I'm flagging this. Holy cow! I'm gonna tell you guys why I'm flagging it. Why? Because I was like, now for the display, it's a little bit different, right? But the fact that I even considered this. I accidentally moved my screen instead of my camera. Why am I struggling to like move my cursor? Cursor. Are we dead us? I was considering to execute upon this. Gotta be trolling, right? Because there's no way. Okay. There's no way. 100%. Let's review. August 29th. We're getting close to where we are now. NQ loss chart image. Oh, this is the. There you go. This is the rest of the, dude. That's like I said. I don't know, man. I split up the images. Oh my goodness. My big belly, baby. Oh my big belly, baby. Big belly. Sorry, I'm thinking about like what I want to listen to. Okay. Solid execution. This would fit more into that messier toward sharper side. So I guess there's a gauge. That's kind of the gauge. We have normal CSD. Sharp CSD. Messy CSD. Trade ideas will either fit, or from what we've seen right now, will either fit into one of these three as a whole, right? Or it'll fit into a middle of each. For example, like normal and sharp CSD will make something, or sharp and messy CSD. Or we haven't, I don't think we've seen a messy and normal CSD yet. So it looks like sharp CSD is the main. Oh my goodness, a light bulb just went off in my mind. A light bulb in real time just went off in my mind, like this. Oh my goodness, it's literally like this. Wait. Oh my goodness, a light bulb just went off in my mind. Here. Here. The core of each trade idea is a sharp displacement, a sharp change state of delivery. That's the middle, okay? So there you go. So this is something that's a necessity with all trade ideas. The normal CSD and the messy CSD have its own, I guess, like areas, but the commonality between all of these is that they always have to have a sharp CSD. So regardless, sharp CSD fits into probability as something that's normal. So it's definitely not the displacement. It's 100% both what happens outside of it. I'm not talking about like what happens prior. I'm talking about like, you know, confluences, probably timing and whatnot, like those other stuff. And what else? I don't know. That's all I got for now. But pretty interesting to me because I just realized we haven't seen any of these two connect. Meaning sharp displacement is one thing as a whole. So we have. So then that also makes two additional types of executions. Makes normal plus sharp CSD. And correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong, but I'm not going back to watch this video. But and then sharp and messy CSD. There you go. We're almost done. It's only an hour long. It is so hot in my room. Sharp CSD. Displacement. How did I lost? I got break even? There's no way. This was the freest money. The market literally like legs open offered me this money. There's no way. Are we serious? Oh no, this is true. I'm not even gonna read all of this. Holy, I typed a lot, which is good. But you're serious? I didn't hit take profit? Oh, I remember this. Dude, I trailed in properly. I didn't trail below this proper wick. I scaled in additional 2 contracts after all this consolidation because I thought we were gonna fully displace higher. Bro, literally this is what taught me to keep my SL below wick lows. This was the what, beginning of September? Yeah, September 1st. I literally remember this date because it would have been, like I said, all of these days would have been crazy winning days. Like, I'm not trolling with you guys when I say, like, but that's also why I still have confidence in my model. Like, some people will look at me and be like, bro, how is he still trading his model? This is how, because a lot of what I'm doing is my fault, But this is for the month of September, so we already know, like, I have 11 losses for the month of September and 2 wins, but I guess we could also take into account how much money I ended up leaving on the table, so it can help clarify things, because, for example, let's say I have all those losses, 90% of those are low probability trades, which I can learn to get rid of just by filtering out, and I had like an additional like 3 or 4 wins that I just didn't end up winning, mainly because of the fact that I did something wrong on my end. Then that will boost my confidence a lot more going into the month of October, because it'll showcase like, hey, I still have trade frequency, I'm still able to make a lot of money, but it was because of me I messed up, and like a clarity in my model. That's what really like, sorry, I'm getting tired. That's what really continues to give me more confidence upon this model, that hey, it's just something with me psychologically or a little bit specifically that I need to work on. September 2nd, I skipped this. However, oh my goodness. Actually, now that I see it, like, bro, I could have made so much. Yeah, bro. I think I literally just forgot. Here, let's have a September count. We'll have September count. September count. So far we have 2 wins. Oh my goodness, my leg is like chafing. Wait, I gotta get this itch. Okay. Now my like elbow hurts. Okay, so 2 wins. I already start of September already missed out on 2 wins, and then we can also compare it to my PNL. Not there. Here. There you go. So here and here. So yeah. This day would have been a win. This day would have been green. So let's see on Wednesday if this ended up being a low probability trade, whether or not. Because if it was, then guess what? Could have avoided that. Could have been green on the whole week. The reason why I'm saying this would have been green was because I remember this day I chose not to take it because the SL would have been like 200 points or $200, which is over like my max risk on one trade idea. But it was the easiest long. Literally would have longed to internal high. I'm pretty sure I popped up an image later. I hope I did. I didn't. Dude, you're starting to piss me off. But yeah, it was the easiest long ever. Like literally piss poor easy long. My neck. I already remember this one. Strong displacement got faked out. That was because my draws on liquidity were improper and ended up getting stopped out. However, displacement was still fine. So this could have been avoided simply by just getting off on the day. We're already looking like low probability price action as a whole. High impact news all over the place, but we'll just call it a loss. I won't even call it like, hey, it would have been a full green week. But now I can 100% say it would have been a heavier green week. I would execute upon this and took this profit. It was already at $300. This would have been over a $1,200. This would have been $300. This would have been, let's call it $800. $1,100. This would have been almost a $1,500 week just based upon these 3 trades. I would have had green, 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 green. That would actually make me feel a little bit better about like the red I have, to be honest. I wouldn't feel like that my model doesn't work anymore. So September count changes to 3 because that week. Check that Friday because it looks like I took 1 loss and 1 win, or that Thursday. Wait, huh? Yeah, that Thursday. Let's see. Oh, I'm stupid. It was not an initial trade idea. What? Bro, these aren't even the same day, deadass. It'd be so freaking for real. Are they? This would be classified as messier displacement. But let's look at this. 6R plus. It was actually more like 8RR, I think. But yeah, 1 and 9R. Holy cow. But I don't have a thing for 1 and 9R. But yeah. I remember this day. I took a losing trade earlier and had to make up for the loss. I traded this, bro. Like, I traded this displacement right here. Like, this is so I'm flagging out this review, sorry. Gotta go back here. So garbage. Is it this one? I'm sweating, bro. Holy garbage displacement, dude. Oh, it's already flagged, bro. Even I already knew. It's been flagged. Be so for real. But solid displacement higher. Perfect example, just like we have. 100% could have avoided the first one, so we have a 1 loss. I'm not marking it as a 1 loss. We already could have avoided. 1 loss could have avoided week 1 September. Okay. 2 wins missed out on week 1 September. Holy, my brain is like slowly shutting off, but I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm in a flow state, high-key, I'm not gonna lie. And when I'm in these flow states, I like to take like full advantage of. Sorry, I gotta like I'm normal. Like, not sorry about like taking off my shirt, but like I was gonna take off my pants, but you guys gotta send me money for that, because there's no way I'm taking that off for free. I need at least like $4.99. Okay. I was like, okay. Oh, my hand is going numb. Frickin'. Actually, one numb from playing Minecraft earlier. Like, be so for real. Bro got 0 blood flow in his hands. Stupid trading day had to make up for that loss initially. That was the first week. Got watched only, so execution. This I actually missed out on. I missed out on this short. Mainly due to me having thought the SMT was invalid. I was looking for that exact SMT, the downside I actually want to see. And Q take that eye. Yes, did it. It was still janky, I'm not gonna lie, like still janky, but 100% missed out on this short. I'll flag that too, because, and we'll see another example of this last week. So we'll see another example of this on this day right here, where we took out internal, and I just wasn't fully used to like utilizing internal, or not utilizing internal, but like the lack of clarity, so I missed it. I'm gonna flag this as well. So this already proves to me that I was already making mistakes, and it wasn't my model. My model was still printing. I would still be green this month. What are we talking about? I'd be significantly green. I'd be rolling in green. This would be the month where you guys see me scale. Oh my goodness, I'm so itchy. I'm taking a shower right after this. One winning trade missed. Internal liquidity. Week 2 September. I know the next trade. I already freaking smell it because I remember the trade. Pretty sure it was a short. Was it? Monday. Blah, 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 blah. Or no, Friday. Friday was the one I missed. Sorry. Here, wait. I need to put that for Friday. Dang, bro. Week 1. Okay, now we can go to week 2. I'm gonna mark that as review. If it's not ordered, review. This is a really big day. Stuff like internal, 100% review days. Monday, looked too short. I was completely fine with this idea. I remember this. Completely fine with this idea. Tuesday, this. No execution when the execution was short. Same example as Friday, so can't believe I didn't mark this as a review. Same as the last Friday. Internal. 100% mark for review. Clean displacement though, but missed out on more than 3R. Why am I saying more than 3R? Because this is where I could have looked to execute, but I was like, nah, I want a slight retracement. I actually almost got filled on this. I was 2 ticks away from getting filled. Would have had this was exactly where I was looking to get filled. However, my actual execution would have been here at this displacement candle. I don't use limit orders ever. But I missed it. So that was free money I missed out on. Short, so we could already mark that. I'll do it at the end. So already missed out on 1 win on the 2nd week of September. Wednesday. Be so for real, I traded this. Be so for real. My cheeks are sweating. Be so for real, bro. Like, I traded that. That's a troll, right? I didn't. Holy moly, it's a secret. Holy, bro. Bro's brain cells just aren't even, like. It's the type of trades you look back at and you're just disappointed, bro. I accidentally paused the video. I'm assuming I paused it right when I typed probability. Anyways, I didn't really comment on anything else from there that was important, so it's fine. I'm just commenting on because my keybind is capital P, so at the same time. But I was just commenting on how this week actually would have been a winning week and not as bad as a red losing week if I didn't take that dog water trade. Just looking at Friday. Friday was this day right here. Bro, this would have been a winning week, bro. Literally missed out on a win. 2 low probability trades and 2 winning trades missed. That 2nd week of September. My model still prints. I was just being an idiot. Oh, bro, went short instead of going long. I was literally looking at longing that. I have the image for proof. I literally looked to long this, and I was like, I think this will be a fake out. Bro, this had such good confluence. Just straight to all-time high. Bro, be so for real. And then I go short. Here. No internal liquidity, by the way, taken. This is just so. I gotta flag this, bro. 3 low probability trades. Retail. Stupid trades. Don't worry, I unpaused it right away this time. I noticed it was paused. Let's go to week 3 and then I guess start now. Week 3 right here, no trade here and here, so we'll start on. This is actually a really, really good week. I don't need we'll just skim past this day and this day. Maybe the beginning of this day. Because I took a loss initially. Did I? No, I guess not. No initial loss. Really? I thought I did. I don't think I did. Never mind. Yeah, no, never mind. No initial loss. I don't remember. This was super solid though. That Wednesday executed loss. Solid. Yeah. Messier displacement. Smart as review, but nothing too crazy. Still a great trade idea. Thursday, took that win. Very, very clean. Strong displacement to the upside. Solid normal change, not normal change state delivery, but strong and sharp displacement. Very clean though. One trade idea. And then that Friday is where it really like, it wasn't the fact that like, I got wicked out of the first trade. Executed. SL was here. Watch this. Wick runs to TP. Like, bro. And then the next trade, this trade, I was just accidentally being stupid. So the first trade, I guess I was fine with. This second trade is what pissed me off. This would have been like $1,000 win based on just scaling it. Oh, why didn't I put the images? Oh, I gotta go back and put the images on this tomorrow. But shorted, no way I didn't put the images on this. Shorted and then accidentally scaled in an additional contract. Screw it, I'll just take you guys there. Fine, I'll do it myself. Right here. This is Messier displacement, but literally shorted right here. Would have scaled in so many additional contracts at these highs. Whenever like there's new highs formed, just know I'm scaled in 100%. And we'll look to target here. Literally beautiful, bro. Would have been so good. Like my RR already went to like 1 to like 3.5, and I had like $150, $160 risk on this. It was so juicy. But and that was with only like, we were still in this area. If we would have scaled all the way down here, I would have made so much money. Like piss you money. Across 3 accounts. Or 4 accounts, sorry. I'm so stupid. What am I saying? Okay, this is still me talking, but anyways. Yeah. Messier displacement. But still solid. This was just me being an idiot, so I can 100% still mark this as me having been stupid. There we go. One low, one. I'm assuming I accidentally paused it here. Anyways, that one stupid mistake, one missed win. There you go. What I just commented on was Monday. So here, I was basically commenting on how this first trade idea, I was fine losing. It was down here. Second trade idea, there was literally nothing here. Just me being an idiot. But there was higher time frame confluence that could have helped me avoid the first one. However, the only trade I was fine losing this day was this normal change in state of delivery. So that's 100% something I'm gonna review this day 100%. But this day didn't have to be as heavy as it was. Probably could have been like a $200 losing day, maybe even a $150 losing day if this was the only trade I took. But we'd have to look into outside confluences rather than just the execution. But the execution here and the execution here could have been avoided. And guess what? I would have been in significant profit throughout the month. So if we take this, I'm going to drag this to my second monitor here. I'm going to pause music for a second. And we look at here. Okay. Based upon what we've literally reviewed together, September has a total missed win count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. I've missed out on 6 wins throughout the month of September. Not baby wins, by the way. Significant wins. Only one of them was a baby one. All of them are all other significant wins, well over $600 with minimal risk, with around $120 risk. Holy brutal. 6 wins, by the way. Holy moly. I'm over here like doubting my ability. No, dude, I'm literally just being okay. So, holy cow. 6 wins. This one was just a start of seeing what we really need to work on, which is that outside confluence, not necessarily that entry, but 100% filtering out those low probability trades, and we'll be able to do that based upon them. I'm assuming the outside confluence is just not based upon the entry. But it was still good getting an eye for everything on what we've seen today. So if we wanted to mark it out, this is how it would look: green, green, red, green, green, I forgot, red, green, half red, green, red, green, green, half red. That's a pretty, I think this would have had one more green maybe, I don't know, but yeah, that's, I'll do the math later. I'll talk to ChatGPT, talk to AI, my mentor, even though my mentor is me, I'm the one doing all the work. But yeah, it is stupid late. I am going to take a shower and go to bed. But yeah, I think this was a great reviewing session. This is what we've seen, and obviously, like, I commented on a lot of other stuff like this and whatever else I commented on throughout the thingamabob. But I hope you guys enjoyed the first review session. Sorry if there were some cuts. I accidentally, like, pressed my keys. But yeah, holy cow, we went through a lot. This was a crazy review session. Now I can finally go to sleep in peace. But I enjoyed it though. I had fun. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy the review session. This really opened my eyes to holy cow, I am messing up myself. I'm literally pissing away profits. It's not that, like, I thought it was just like, oh, my model's not getting any setups. No, my model's getting setups. I'm just not taking them. Because what? 6 wins? I don't think you guys know how much 6 wins is to me. 6 wins with all of them exceeding 1 to 4 RR? It's like 24 RR I pissed away. That's like a 20k month. That's a 20k month in and of itself. What are we talking about? Anyways, love you guys. If you watch this video to the end, comment. I'm going to find you. Comment an essay about how you're going to find me. Like, make it super ominous, so the people that don't watch the video are gonna look at the description and be like, what? Okay, anyways. And then put an eggplant emoji at the end, so I know. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm exhausted. I'm going to sleep. Holy cow. Peace.